I want to tell you about the 5 years I lost, not to tragedy, not to illness, and not to some circumstance beyond my control. I lost them to waiting. Waiting to feel ready, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the fear to disappear. And when I finally stopped and looked back, I sat down and counted the real cost of those 5 years. It wasn't just time. And if any part of you feels like you're sitting in a waiting room right now, this is the message I wish someone had shared with me. I had a dream, like most people do. Mine was simple on the surface. I wanted to build something of my own, something I could point to and say, I made that a business, a platform, something that belonged to me. For 5 years, I carried the plans with me. My notebooks were full of ideas. I had late-night conversations about everything I was going to do someday. That word can quietly steal years from your life while pretending to be patience. In the first year, I told myself I needed to learn more before starting. I convinced myself I wasn't ready yet. In the second year, I said the timing was wrong. Life was busy. It wasn't the right season. In the third year, something uncomfortable happened. I watched someone else build almost the exact thing I had been planning. They weren't more talented than me. They weren't more prepared. The difference was simple. They started. And I watched them from the waiting room. In the fourth year, I told myself their success was luck. It helped me sleep better at night, but deep down, I knew it wasn't true. By the fifth year, something had changed. One morning, I woke up and realized the dream felt smaller than it used to. Not because the dream had changed, but because I had spent 5 years feeding my fears instead of my faith. That realization scared me more than starting ever could. Here's what waiting actually cost me, and I want you to hear this clearly. It cost me confidence. Every day you avoid the thing you know you should be doing. Your belief in yourself slowly shrinks. It doesn't happen all at once. It's quiet and gradual. But somewhere inside, you know what you're capable of. And every day you ignore that truth, your mind begins to treat it like something you say, but don't really mean. It also cost me my sense of identity. I had spent so many years saying, I'm going to do this, that I didn't know who I was without the plan anymore. The plan had become a substitute for action, and plans without action are just daydreams with better vocabulary. Most painfully, it cost me time I can never get back. I was 22 when the dream felt the clearest. I was 27 when I finally started. That's 5 years. 5 years of experience I could have gained. 5 years of mistakes I could have learned from. 5 years of building something real again, spent sitting in the waiting room. I'm not telling you this to make you feel guilty. I'm telling you because I want you to count the cost before you end up paying it. So what changed? It wasn't inspiration. It wasn't a motivational video, a book, or a mentor suddenly appearing in my life. It was a question. One afternoon, I asked myself, very seriously, what exactly am I waiting for? I didn't ask it casually. I sat down and wrote the answers out. What are you actually waiting for? When I looked at the list, something hit me hard. None of it was real. I was waiting to stop being afraid. But fear doesn't disappear. It just becomes quieter when you act despite it. I was waiting to feel qualified, but the truth is, you become qualified by doing the thing, not before you start it. I was waiting for someone to give me permission. And eventually, I realized something simple but powerful: nobody was coming. Nobody had ever been coming. Every reason on my list was just a feeling pretending to be a logical excuse. Feelings are powerful, but they are terrible managers when it comes to life decisions. So I made a new rule for myself. My feelings can inform me, but they will not decide for me. The moment I separated those two things, everything began to change. Now, I won't pretend that starting suddenly made everything easy. It didn't. The first few months were humbling. Ideas I believed would work failed quickly. Projects I felt proud of completely flopped. It was uncomfortable and messy, but something important happened during that time. I finally received feedback, real feedback from the real world. Every failure taught me something the waiting room never could. Because in the waiting room, your ideas remain perfect. They never get tested. They never face reality. The moment you start, your ideas improve because reality begins shaping them. 6 months after I began, I had already failed at 4 different approaches, but I had also learned more about what actually works than I had in 5 years of planning. That's the brutal irony of waiting. You think you're preparing yourself, but you're actually moving further away from the answers, because the answers only exist inside the action. They never appear before it. If there is only one idea I hope you remember from this story, it's this: readiness is a myth. Nobody has ever felt completely ready for the moment that changed their life. Not the entrepreneur whose story appears on magazine covers. Not the athlete standing in a packed stadium. Not the artist performing in front of thousands of people. They all started uncertain. They started afraid. They started imperfect. And that messy, uncomfortable beginning is exactly what shaped them into the people they eventually became. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not under. You are simply someone who hasn't started yet. And that can change today. I lost 5 years of my life to waiting. I can't get them back, but I can make sure this message reaches someone who still has those years ahead of them. If that person might be you, then hear this clearly. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week, and not when everything finally feels right. Start today with the imperfect idea, the shaky confidence, and the unfinished plan. Just start. Sometimes that single decision is all it takes to step out of the waiting room and into the life you were meant to build.